Hey, Kabir.
What's up, Yianni? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent, man. Thanks for joining in.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy too.
You and I have had a conversation before for Catapult. Now we're doing this again for our listeners here at Impactish. So, who is Yianni
Mamtsaderis.
Mamtsaderis?
It's a tough one. I know. I
Okay.
know.
And
Yeah,
what's your background? Yeah.
I am the child of Greek immigrants, born in Queens, New York, moved out to Long Island when I was relatively young. And Right now, I mean, I guess if you ask that question right at different points in your life, it's different. Right now, I'm on a mission to eliminate harmful waste caused by coffee consumption, and we want to start with K-cups, which we deem to be really the most unnecessary form, something that we could completely prevent. I've dabbled in e-commerce from a really young age. I guess you could say I'm somewhat of like a self-starter.
Mhm.
When I was in eighth grade, a friend of mine showed me a website that you could buy Nike shoes and cleats and stuff like that directly from the manufacturer in China. Who knows how legit it was? I was probably 12, 13 years old, and eBay was kind of getting started at that point. So set up a little eBay business even as early as eighth, ninth grade.
No way. Okay.
Yeah, and then went to school, went to a business school in Manhattan, and graduated in 2017. At that point, I started an e-commerce business on Amazon. So did FBA for a couple years, selling children's shin guards, starting and other sporting goods, children's sporting goods. I was like, this is a market that now the parents of these kids that are young that are doing these sports, they love Amazon, they buy on Amazon, right? It's
Mhm.
so every year there's new kids going into sports, so I was like, that's a great business, and I saw that there was a niche. So did that, had a some extra time, after getting that set up and once it was kind of in motion. So at that point, I figured what's something that I could do that I could do like pretty easily, and it was actually sales. So I got into sales, did that for a couple years, and then I had the idea for Savepod, and I started writing that patent and got started on that journey as soon as COVID hit in 2020.
Okay. Interesting time to start thinking about an idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think about business school? Did that propel this journey forward? Because I know that's something that a lot of young people consider if that's necessary for entrepreneurship or not.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't think it's necessary, no. And just to give a little background, I didn't get like my MBA. I just went to a business focused undergrad school in Manhattan. I was actually talking to this with my co-founder yesterday. He tells me like his education costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, over $300,000. And I'm like, I went to a city school and paid $24,000 for all 4 years.
Nice.
It's like $6,000 a year. But I would say that it was a great experience. I wouldn't change it, but very few of it actually set me up for like the real world of business.
Really?
Yeah. I
Okay.
would say I definitely learned some like foundational like knowledge, like things like whether it was accounting. I had a really good professor actually for this class that all graduates must take at Baruch, and the professor was the ex CMO at Hess, the big gas station company. And at that point, I mean, not just even gas stations, they did a lot more. They were a multi-billion-dollar company. And he was actually part of the team that rolled out the Hess trucks for Christmas for the kids. And he was a great professor. He taught the class like a Harvard Business School. We had a case study every class. We had to read over it, be very knowledgeable on it, engage in really good conversation on the topic. That was a great class. But overall, I think a college degree, unfortunately and unfortunately, it's however you look at it, is becoming less valuable than it was.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many new majors nowadays. and so many more people are getting degrees, and it decreases their value if everyone has one. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to put up on the screen for everyone listening afterwards your device, but can you take us through what exactly is the Savepods device?
Yeah, you actually called me at a good time because I took some prototypes out
Oh,
of
no way. Okay.
out of a luggage that I had for a
Wow.
trade show. We were just at the New York Innovation Trade Show, so I had to pack all this. So when I unpacked, I just left it on my desk. But essentially, we're the first of our kind of a pod maker. Think of this as a small device that sits next to a single serve brewer, allows users to make pods that are compatible with their existing brewer so that they don't have to continue to buy the single use.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much we've created, this was my idea. This is what's different than what's currently on the market, which are these, which a majority of people that buy these stop using them because when you're done, you have to clean out coffee and it's wet, it's dirty. These collect a lot of bacteria. They get kind of gross after a while.
Yeah.
They're very cheaply made. There's no brand identity. They're just kind of Alibaba products that are sold, via private label on websites like Amazon. So what we did, we were like, my idea was let's cut off the bottom, make a reusable ring that's compatible in every Keurig. And you could see how, let me show you actually the competition first, how it closes. And you could see how it sticks up over there.
Yes.
So like people like don't always even, these aren't always compatible like this design, but we created a proprietary design that's compatible in every single Keurig. And you could see how nicely that sits. And then it works with, so pretty much the user experience would be this. You take this, you put it here, you take one of our compostable, 100% compostable filters, you stick it in there. You're gonna have coffee in here. You have a custom stainless steel scooper that we made. You're gonna scoop your coffee, right? And then when you're done, you're just gonna close this. It snaps nicely so you know it's shut. And then that just goes in your Keurig. And then you're done, you make a cup of coffee. And then when the brew is over, same way that you would take maybe a plastic pod and walk to the garbage and throw it out. With this, you could go to the garbage or compost if you have that. And then you just pop this open. This is going to be wet. The waste falls out. You could give this a quick rinse. You don't have to. And then you just hang it back right here and it'll dry and it'll be there waiting for you next time as well. So we did all this by design for convenience so that the next time the user goes, it's there. They have all the components they need to make a pod right there next to their brewer.
Because the K-cups are so convenient. You're up against something that it's smart that you've built it in the way that you have. Wow. So what is the potential impact, like realistically, if this succeeds?
The potential impact is huge, and that's also part of what made me start this. Like when I originally had this idea, I've always loved coffee and been intrigued by coffee, and I'm also intrigued by supply chain. So the fact that like these pods are being manufactured in these facilities, all these extra materials are coming together, they take up more space, just like the logistics of all that, more packaging. Currently about 17 billion K-cups are used and wasted each year. That's not even including Nespresso, just K-cup compatible, 17 billion. Okay. So over a billion a month. And to put that in context, I know it's hard and I know people always kind of do this sort of thing, but if you were to take the K-cups and then just line them up one after the other, you could see how small these are. The 17 billion would wrap around the largest circumference of the earth that takes 48 hours on a commercial flight to circle. If you were to do it 20 times. So think about going around the world 20 times in K-cups that are being collected and then just like ending up in landfills and oceans. So what we want to do is by 2025, so next year alone, just based on our pre-sales, we're going to eliminate about 10 million single-use plastic pods from being used and wasted our first year. And then our mission is to scale that to 1 billion by 2025 and on every year.
Okay, knocking on Keurig's door. I love that.
Yeah, for sure.
Sweet, man. So, we always hear about these super impactful technologies, and yet it takes absurd levels of unit economics and economies of scale in order to get there. How do you foresee replacing these K cups at such a great quantity? And what challenges do you foresee? And like, how do you plan on overcoming those?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. People don't realize like the actual back end that goes into this sort of thing. And for us, it's our filters.
Okay.
So every filter sold is a K-cup save. They're going to need to use this as one-time use and it gets thrown away and it'll break down on its own. So we're replacing these plastic pods with literally just this paper. So we need to
How long
produce
does the paper take to break down?
about 30 to 45 days.
Okay, as opposed to the plastic, that's what, 1,000?
Uh, Plastic, they say 500 to 1,000 years,
Okay.
and that'll just break down into microplastics. So it'll
Yeah.
never fully break down.
Yeah.
Whereas it's just paper, so it just breaks down. So we need to get supply chain, and we've done a good job at securing um, paper converters that are able to take our material and then press it into our shape.
Hmm.
And then on the user end, the way we're going to support that is with an auto subscription. We want to make getting filters as easy as possible for people. So they'll just put in a couple, fill out a couple of cues about how many people in the household are there, how many cups of coffee do they drink a day. We'll do a calculation and ship them out every 3 months.
Yeah.
But we'll also offer them directly if somebody just prefers to buy a 500 pack every 3 times a year.
Hmm.
And we want to give users a lot of options, but eventually we would just want to set up our own operations for filters and make
Right.
them ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet, man. Well, on behalf of the oceans and the plastic pollution facing it, thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, man. I felt like I had to do it. When I had this idea, I felt like it was like I had the responsibility to do it, and then that like I had the potential to actually make this a reality and eliminate millions and eventually billions of plastic pods.
Yeah.
And then also at the same time, like impact people's lives on a daily basis because coffee is such a habitual thing.
Yep.
And I also thought, yeah, there you go, right? It's like I got mine over here too. So it was like I had to do it. I had to at least try it. And it's small steps in the beginning, but you need to be smart. You need to be scrappy. You need to figure out like if the market actually wants it. Like that's the first thing you need to do is like interview prospective customers and see if like this is actually a problem that they have. Like don't probe to say that your idea is a good idea. Probe to get like real user pain points and frustrations
Hmm.
out of like people. Like I would go up to random people at Starbucks. They thought I was crazy, and just ask them like, "Hey, I see you drinking coffee. By any chance, do you use a Keurig?" And about half the time, people would say yes. And it turns out that 40% of the US owns a single serve coffee maker.
40%.
And
Okay.
40%.
That
And
makes me
for
fancy with my French press then. All right. Top.
yeah, you're an old soul. But that's also like coming back in the scene now too. Like the Gen Z millennial generation, they are maybe a little bit, they care more about quality because we've been spoiled with like nice things. Whereas like 30, 40 years ago in America, if you wanted coffee, it was like burn coffee at a gas station or diner or like deli. There
Yeah.
was no Starbucks. There wasn't even really Dunkin' wasn't like popular. So we've gone to like a next level, and that's where we want to take Savepod to. This is just like our first introductory product, and the way we look at it is like a backdoor into the market.
Mhm.
But like eventually we want to set up our own systems using our technology, patented technology, which are our rings and filters. That's the foundation of endless possibilities.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I really felt compelled with it, and I was like, if we could make this impact like on the earth, but then also on like saving people money and getting them excited about doing something in the morning,
Mhm.
and then
Boom.
also get their mindset into the default of I wasted paper that's biodegradable instead of a plastic pod. hopefully that carries throughout their day as well. And
Mm.
they start using a reusable water bottle instead of 8 water bottles a day
Yeah.
and other things. So I think the impact that we could have is greater than just the coffee.
Okay. Okay. Side note, after a night out, diner black coffee that's burnt slaps. Absolutely slaps. Nothing like it. If
It
anyone
does, man. I
if
love diner coffee.
yeah. If this story and your mission resonates with anybody, how can they get involved? Are you hiring?
Yeah, we are actually right now looking for a marketing guru. I'm involved in every aspect of the business as the CEO. We have a full-time CTO, and then we also have a COO, and then we also have a CFO. But what we're kind of missing right now is that person that's going to join us super early, that's passionate about it, that believes in it, and that we like and we could work with. And we are looking to get someone involved that could help us leverage underpriced attention on, like, YouTube Shorts is emerging right now big time because they're competing with TikTok. TikTok
Mhm.
is still good. But we want to utilize YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and Instagram Reels, short format vertical content, as well as doing some paid as well. And then just like all other aspects of it to PR, I feel like we'll be able to get a lot of good PR for this.
Mhm.
So definitely have an eye on that. And then also like email marketing. We have an email list of over 6,000 people. And we want to start engaging those people, just everything to essentially sell as many of these as possible, because when someone buys one of these, like once they have it, this one little device could potentially eliminate thousands of K-cups.
Over his
And
lifetime. Yeah.
yeah, so that's the mission, is to eliminate as many coffee pods and then branch out to other single-use waste caused by coffee consumption.
Okay. Well, Yanni, thank you so much for your time, man. Marketing gurus who are listening, this is your chance to get into impact tech. Thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure, Kabir. Great speaking again, and really enjoyed it.
Thanks, man. Good luck. See
Yeah,
you.
thanks. Take care. Talk soon. Bye bye.